Hello everyone, my name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium where I react to video game music as a musician myself. Today is the return of Genshin Impact. La Signora. Battle theme, all phases. Huge request. It's been requested for a very long time. This was actually a YouTube request from back in the day when I used to do those. And it's been requested by a lot of people actually, so thank you to Bio Toxin, Ifano, and Karver Lau, and everyone else that's requested it. The return of Genshin Impact, it's a very mysterious soundtrack to me because it's all over the place as far as genres. I don't know who or what La Signora means or is. I wonder if that has to do with the Spanish word of like... It sounds like a Spanish word called Signora, which is like elderly. It's like saying, I don't know, whatever. It's just the first thing I thought of. Anyways, it's a 7-minute, 3-phase fight. Genshin Impact, La Signora. Let's go. Sounds like a demonic Christmas song right now. Cool little forward rhythm. Dun, 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 dun. I wonder if I'll be able to tell when the phases change. I was just listening to Nier soundtrack earlier and kind of reminded me of that. The piano is actually really cool. Dun 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 dun. Oh, the piano went higher in the background. Or those are violins. Something went higher in the background. The octave went higher. Whew, man. I'm getting very big ascension floating type of energy. This feels very menacing. Very slight percussion in the background. Oh. Are there different titles of this between? Oh. Oops. Transformation phase. Oh. I love snares like that. It sounds like a demonic parade. I love a good snare like that. Well, we're going metal now. The electric guitars. Oh, just kidding. We have like at least 4 genres happening right now at the same time. I think that was a guitar and violin duet. I love the constant change of rhythms. It hasn't really stuck in one spot for too long, it just keeps evolving. We're in a groove now. Of course, the operatic singing is crazy. This is the transformation phase? Oh, we're in the second phase now, according to this. Wow. That is definitely a duet. What a roller coaster. Don't tell me it's over. What? No! Oh, what a freaking tease. Are you serious? Crimson Witch of Embers. Okay, before I move on, I want to check something really quick. So hold on. Okay, we're back. I was just making sure that no one like requested like another alternate title or something. When I saw Crimson Witch of Embers, I'm like, oh, maybe that's the song name. I don't know. As far as I know, the song is just called La Signora. I don't know if I should be saying that with my actual like Spanish, La Signora. I'm not sure. But anyways, okay. First of all, I would like to just mention that I've heard 3 songs back to back, or not back to back, but in like 2 days that have Crimson, that I relate to Crimson. It's kind of creepy and weird. That flew by so fast. I did not feel like 7 minutes. I feel like I was just getting started. It felt like 2 minutes. It felt like a giant build-up, and then it just like stop. So it makes me curious if there's more to that, or maybe like a second song that's connected that plays maybe a little slightly later, or if that is just indeed the whole thing. By the way, this is composed by yu-peng Chen, which I believe composed the whole thing. I feel like I've seen that name before. This soundtrack is so all over the place. I think the first thing I heard from this game was like a dubstep song. And then I've heard kind of like, you know, village themes that sound all Disney and whatever. And now here we go with this like really epic piece. This is a movement of music. This is borderline kind of classical, where, you know, it's not just like intro, verse, chorus, repeat. It's like, you know, movement 1 into movement 2 into, you know, it's truly a roller coaster. It reminds me of stuff from like Johann Sebastian Bach and all those names that you might know, Mozart, Mozart, and Vivaldi, Bozart. That's funny. So, okay, well, I definitely got to the vibe of a boss battle. Obviously, I could see right here. Well, actually, I don't know if it's a boss. It says battle theme, but I'm assuming based on that it's a boss because it sounded like a boss, especially with the phases. I'm still completely unsure what this game is. I've heard the name because it's so popular, but I've never really seen like footage of it, so I don't know if like I've seen like 2 pictures of it, and every time I've seen those pictures, they were like very open world. So I just thought it was like a very just kind of like exploration type of game. I don't know. I don't know how else to put it. It seemed very like I don't know what genre to put it in from what I've seen, which is basically nothing. But all the images that I have seen based on thumbnails that I've done here, it's all over the place. I don't know what Genshin means. I don't know what Genshin Impact means. The whole thing is mysterious to me. Anyways, let's talk about the song. Wow. That was such a cool use of so many instruments in a very tasteful way. Nothing was overused. Nothing was too loud. Everything was like mixed perfectly, I guess. For example, when the guitars came in later, the electric guitars, you felt them and you heard them, but they didn't take over. It wasn't all of a sudden an electric guitar song, but you feel that oomph from them. So from what I recall, the first phase, there was very obviously a build-up. I don't know where it was going to go from there, but it was obviously like a kind of creepy sort of, there's a lot of tubular bells, I believe. Had a very Christmas vibe, which reminded me of Danny Elfman type music. This sounds like Danny Elfman to me. Not saying he's the only one that composes this style, but he's like the first one I think of, because I think from being a kid, I was like the first composer I know that did that kind of stuff. So I thought of that. Danny Elfman is the composer from The Simpsons, The Nightmare Before Christmas, a lot of Tim Burton films, etc., etc. Had his own band, Oingo Boingo. So the first section, I felt really, I think I said this, it felt very floaty. I felt like I was in the clouds or something, like just, I don't know, I always get like a vision per se when I hear this. It depends if the music kind of takes me somewhere. And this one I felt more sky, I guess, or the first phase, I should say. The transformation phase, everything kind of totally changed. Because now the visual changed. I didn't know the visuals were going to change. And now all of a sudden, I get introduced to, I guess, like the title, which is like what? Crimson Witch of Embers. So all of a sudden, now I know she like controls fire or something very red, hot, all that, right? Crimson, red, the color of blood, and embers, fire. So it almost felt like we went from the sky to hell, like just like a straight descent. This is where the song starts picking up quite a bit. It's funny because like it actually like it's a phase where it like the first section stops and then it goes into the next one. I don't know if it's like that in game or if it's just like that for the YouTube video. It doesn't really matter, but in this one it obviously stopped and then continued when the phase happened. A slightly more heavy metal, not really though, just kind of. Only the electric guitars, but the drums were picking up. They had a little more tribal beat to them, and also it was more of like an electronic beat. So we had like metal guitars with like a kind of EDM style of percussion, but that wasn't the only percussion either. The percussion went from like real drums to electronic to this tempo to slow down to half of that tempo. Sometimes the percussion was gone. It was so dynamic. That's like the best way I can describe the song. It's extremely dynamic, which makes me think maybe the fight is quite dynamic as well. It changes a lot. I'm aware at least that there's 2 phases according to the song, but it feels like not just phases, but it feels like there's a lot of like mini phases, I guess, based on how much the song jumps. Like for example, like I say, if it's a boss, like for one instance they're on the ground and floating, and then they're transform into something else, whatever. Like just a lot visually happening to kind of match the music. A lot of genres in this, like classical, neoclassical, metal, electronic, the violin stuff. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure every time there was like a big like scale lead, it was the electric guitar with the violin together. That was cool. It sounded like that, but I'm not entirely sure. It was kind of, they were mixed very well together if that was the case, because it was almost, I almost couldn't separate them. Oh, but anyways, what I was saying is like it's very dynamic. Dynamics is a very, in my opinion, one of the most important things for me in music writing, whether as a listener or composing, because it feels very human. It doesn't feel copy and pasted or anything. Dynamics is basically, there's many ways you can describe dynamics, but when I describe dynamics when it comes to music, it's like a more human feeling. You can hear, you know, mistakes per se. Nothing. It doesn't sound completely just like, you know, robotic in a click track or copy and pasted, that type of thing. So it has almost like a live performance feel, and this is just full of that. Obviously, you know, it's recorded properly and all that, but all that being said, that was a lot to take in. I can't recall if I've heard Genshin music that sounds that heavy before. I've heard a little bit of Genshin songs, but they've all been like separated, like in time that I've heard them. So I can't remember what the last one sounded like and the one before that. I just remember sort of like little things from them. And the last one was maybe like 2 or 3, 4 months ago, something like that. And it was like a village theme. I don't know, but this was cool. Very epic. I don't know if I said that already, but I think it goes without saying that this kind of music is extremely epic, but it's also really, really, really well done. If you like stuff like this, like the second phase, there is a soundtrack which I do like that is kind of similar, as more on the second phase part, not really like the whole movement thing. But if you like the second phase, there is a video that I did from a game called Dragon Ball FighterZ, which is like a fighting game of Dragon Ball Z. And I think it was Android 21's theme. I'll put it here. Totally recommend stuff like that. There's also my favorite song from a game you might have heard of called Final Fantasy XIV is The Wrath of the Harrier. And so if something can remind me of my favorite song from another game, that's a pretty big deal. And this reminded me of that. So, wow. You know, what else could I say? There's a reason why this game is huge. And I'm sure the music has to do with a big chunk of that. It's just all over the place. Anyways, thanks to everyone that you see on the screen. Thanks to Bio Toxin, Ifano, and Karver Lau, and everyone else that's requested it. My name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium. Until next time, dudes and dudettes. Peace.